Does your form suck? Well, stick around, let's fix it. What is up? It's your boy John Street Vibe Feeding Promise Italic. It is. Welcome back to the channel. We're here again at the Blue Star Nutraceuticals headquarters, and today we're gonna fix your big three: bench, deadlift, and squat. Anyway, guys, without further ado, keep your eyes glued to the screen and your ears glued to the speakers, and let's learn some shit. Everybody's body's a lot different. So depending on your shin bone length, your thigh bone length, and your torso length is gonna determine what kind of squatter you are. If you have, say, if you have a short shin bone and like a really long thigh bone and a very short torso, you might be one of those squatters that end up doing this. The opposite. You might be one of those squatters that do a lot of this and sit back. Sometimes we squat down, then we have our feet come off the ground, our heels come off. Or we only can get this far because we can't get that proper knee over toe. We want to be able to achieve squatting and getting all the way down and all the way up. Now, if that's hard for you to do and you find that your heels have come off the ground, that's when we apply something like a wedge. What the wedge is gonna do, again, it's gonna pretend like it's gonna lengthen the length of your shin bone. That's why we do this. So then when I do squat, you can see the difference in how much knee over toe I'm going to get, and knee over toe is a good thing. So on the way down, I can get myself all the way down with a good healthy amount of knee over toe. Now, when we're coming back up, we want to make sure that on the way up, we don't have your knees caving in like this. So we're conscious of squatting and making sure our knees stay over our toes the entire time, going down and then coming up. We're at the bar. We're going to hinge our butt back to get the bar. We're not going to, and this is what happens most of the time, people do this and they end up pushing the bar away. We want to avoid lifting the bar up and then having the weight away from us and then pulling it back in. We want to make sure the bar pathway stays consistent. What is the bar pathway? Gravity, just goes up and down. If I take this bar like this and just drop it, it's going to go straight down. So we want to make sure our body is in that position to make sure that it does the same thing, because that's going to keep our lower back a lot healthier. So once we've walked into the bar, it's over a shoelace. Our feet are exactly where they need to be in terms of where you're comfortable. We've hinged our butt back, our chest up, and we've got the bar outside our shins. We're gonna make sure our fists are facing the ground. We're gonna pretend someone's tickling our armpits, and then at the same time, we're gonna brace. We're gonna pretend that the same friend that's trying to tickle our armpits is also trying to punch you in the stomach. So you're gonna tighten your core. We're not gonna suck it in, we're gonna tighten it. Brace your core as if someone's gonna come by and sock you in the stomach. If you got friends like that, good job. Our friends trying to tickle our armpits and trying to punch us in the stomach, we're tight, head's gonna be up, and then we're gonna push into the floor, pull up, hips forward. Then we're gonna put the bar right back down the same way it came back up. Hips are gonna go back, down to the floor. What we wanna avoid is our shoulders being here, pulling up, and then pulling it in, and then riding it back down like this, and that happens all the time. What that does is takes the bar pathway and makes it do this. When you think about the fastest point from A to B is a straight line. We're gonna make sure that line stays straight, because if we're pulling the bar out and in, that means our lower back is doing a lot of work that it doesn't need to do. Making sure that your shoulder is above your butt. That's your safeguard. We want to avoid being like this. We want to avoid too much of this. Now, rule of thumb, if your butt goes up, the weight goes up. So if my butt goes up an inch, the weight goes up an inch. We want to avoid this and then pulling up with our back. So to avoid that, we have to make sure that we are braced. We're gripping the bar, we're engaging our core, protecting our armpits, pushing the ground, tight core, and pulling straight up and hips through. And then back on the ground, keeping it tight. Where the bar lands, that is your depth. You don't have to reload and come back up. Just put it right back down the way it came back up, and you're tight the entire time. We come back up. Okay, let's talk about some common bench mistakes and fix them right now. I am one with a bench. Now I'm gonna grab the bar, roll it close to me. I'm gonna push it up a bit, and then I'm gonna pull it right down so it's over my chest. Remember, we're gonna work with gravity. The bar pathway is gonna come down and press back up. Now, I see a couple things all the time in videos. We're gonna stack the joints. What does stack the joints mean? It doesn't mean smoking weed. It means literally making sure the fist, wrist, and elbow are under the bar. And that's gonna give you a good line or a good bar pathway. We see a little bit of this too much and the bar kind of comes and does this, or too far in front and we're doing this and we have this flaring thing that happens. And this right now is putting a lot of pressure on my shoulder and it doesn't feel healthy whatsoever. So we want to make sure that our fists, wrists, and elbows are under the bar. So when we push, we're strong on the way up. And then every time we press, and I have no weight on, it stays in the same place. We want to make sure the bar pathway stays consistent. Now, a couple things you can do to make sure that we can stack the joints is pretend you're trying to bend the bar this way and this way. So when I'm up here and I've rolled my shoulders back over my ears, the bar is here. If you see my shoulders are kind of flare, I'm going to try and bend the bar a little bit. That's gonna get my elbows in a line with the bar, so when I break at the elbows, it stays under the bar. And then when I'm benching, I'm trying to literally bend the bar on the way up. This is gonna force a lot more activation in the chest. I'm trying to do this. When you're doing bench press or using a bar, what happens is we can't fully get the arm to a dot like we would if we're doing dumbbells. So to activate the chest even more, we're gonna create this tension by trying to bend the bar. So, pinkies on the ring fingers on the smooth, shoulders back away from my ears, pressing the weight up, pulling it over my chest, and then I'm gonna take a deep breath in, and then press. I'm gonna control the weight down and press. And we can go all the way down to the chest. And then pressing up. The only way this is gonna come up is the proper way. So make sure that from floor to core, my feet are planted, my glutes are engaged, my core is engaged, my shoulders are backing away from my ears. I'm grabbing the bar, pushing it up, pulling it over to positioning, pausing for a second, lowering the weight, making sure the joints are stacked. Fists, wrists, and elbows are under the bar. Deep breath in, and pressing. Controlling it again, down, and press. Controlling it down. To 12, 15 reps. And making sure you can use a load that can let you achieve those reps. Take a weight that's challenging enough, that's gonna get you to exhaustion, but doesn't jeopardize or contradict your form. To wrap things up, go to the ego. Your big three are gonna be your staple to some of your lifts. So if you're just beginning, take the time to learn proper form. Remember, you wanna load on dysfunction. The healthier we can be, the longer we can continue to make those gains. If you injure yourself, you're no good to anybody. That's what my coach used to say, basically. If I cannot play, then I'm no good to playing. If I cannot lift, then I cannot get to my goals. So take the time to learn proper form. When you're squatting, feet a little bit outside shoulder width apart. Toes at 1 o'clock and 11 o'clock. Making sure our knees are aligned with our toes. Our hips are back a little bit. Tightening the core, shoulders back away from our ears. And then making sure our hips and knees break at the same time. Deadlifting, making sure that that bar pathway stays consistent. Making sure you're walking up to the bar close enough where it's either on your shin or over top of your shoelaces. Hinging your butt back and gripping the bar so our arms nice and long. And engage your core, and then we're exploding up and then putting it back down the way we came back up. And then bench. Just make sure that our feet are planted on the floor. We're engaging our core. We're grabbing the bar at the right positioning, making sure our fists, wrists, and elbows are under the bar, stacking the joints. And then we're controlling the weight down and up. I even had to lower all my weight after I've been injured from lifting wrong. I had to get rid of my ego, and I had to start right from scratch. And I'm very glad that I did, because 6 years from then, I am now still able to train at a high level to still reach my goals being a professional bodybuilder today. So all I'm here to do is just give you guys the most optimal way to achieve your goals. I want to make sure you're doing exactly what's necessary to get to where you're trying to go. So again, just get rid of the ego. Take your time to a great, well-rounded, strong foundation so you continue to progressive overload and then make it to your physical goals. Remember, if you're injured, you can't train. If you can't train, you can't build muscle. And that's it. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed that video. So for more information about that, guys, hit the link in the description below. And remember, we're putting out 2 videos every week, so make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. You guys know what it is. Iron sharpens iron, progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.